If you clicked on this video, then I feel for you. Being multi-passionate is not always the easiest path, and sometimes it requires a lot of patience, not only with yourself, but also the path that you've been given, because it doesn't always seem to be that straight line like that guy you knew that always knew since he was 5 he wanted to be a doctor. We tend to take a path that kind of ends up ping-ponging around a little bit, and even having multiple careers throughout our lifetimes, or even multiple careers at once, like me. So if you're here, let's take a moment of silence for all of those times where you felt flaky, indecisive, or stupid because you couldn't seem to pinpoint one path for yourself. Okay, that's enough of that. So you may ask, what qualifies me to speak on this topic? I am a multi-passionate person through and through. I've already experienced several careers throughout my adult life, including working in dentistry, to operations management, to being in real estate, which I currently still do. I also work in healing and I do Reiki. I have a YouTube channel, and I also have other projects going on simultaneously. So as someone who has ping-ponged around in life my whole life, but really over the past several years specifically, I really got to this point where I got very frustrated. I worked with a lot of coaches and mentors. I spent a lot of money on those things. I did courses, I did programs, I read books, I watched videos, I took master classes. I've done all these things to try to niche myself down. And what I ended up learning was that it was extremely frustrating for me to fit into boxes that were created by other people for other people. But it was also a cry to understand that maybe I would work a little bit better when I create my own structure versus having to fit into other people's systems. So what that included for me was tracking a lot of things, including my energy, my sleep, my menstruation cycle, creating systems and structures that help me succeed throughout the day, and keep track of all of the side projects that I'm always working on. All of these things where now I've actually got it into a dash that organizes my entire life. So I'm going to walk you guys through that at some point in this video today. But also what I want to talk to you about is just letting you know that there's nothing wrong with you. You're going to get some good key takeaways for multi-passionate people that would really help change the way you look at the way you do things every day. Maybe this is going to help you stop being so hard on yourself, because I think that's definitely something that comes along with this territory, is getting upset that you don't fit in well where you're not probably supposed to be fitting in. And you're also going to learn how some of these things that have been viewed flaky or indecisive or flighty have actually been things that really help you see the world in a way that nobody else can. If the question, what do you want to be when you grow up, is still haunting to you, even like me at 40, I still am I don't know. I'm always evolving. But if that's a question that's always been very difficult for you to answer because you either tend to get bored quickly, or you have a lot of interests, or maybe you don't even necessarily get bored of a specific interest, but you just put it down for a while and you come back to it. These are all traits of a multi-passionate person. And something we've been taught to believe is that you have to choose a career path and specialize it and niche it down. And even in social media marketing, what do they always tell you? To find your niche. And sometimes the niche isn't about a product, but maybe you're the niche, maybe you're the product, and that whatever you bring to the table in whatever way you do is going to be so unique because you do think differently than so many straight-minded people. Thing about multi-passionate people is when we learn about something, we obsess. You deep dive, you go in, you learn all the things, and you do it quickly, because what happens is once you start really hitting a stride with something, you stop and your curiosity pulls you into a different direction. And although that can be fun, because now we are resourceful and we've learned about not just this thing that just had our attention for a while, but now we're learning about this new thing too. And something that I've learned about being multi-passionate is that maybe each of those things alone doesn't necessarily complete the puzzle. So for instance, I've learned about building websites over the past several years. I've learned about drop shipping and Amazon and affiliate programs. And maybe I'm not doing all those things individually, but in some ways I'm tying them all together into this channel or my other businesses. Being multi-passionate isn't about being scattered. It's about having having range. It's about being able to connect the dots that other people don't see. It's being able to pull from different skills and experiences and making it into something bigger or unique or more creative. We are idea people. We're problem solvers. We are resourceful. We have the ability to learn things quickly. We are adaptable. And we come up with solutions that don't come from one way of thinking. Maybe we bop around a bit, but that doesn't make us less reliable. It makes us more resourceful. The challenge here really lies within our environment. It's not really built to support that kind of mindset. Whether these are things that you learned at home or at school or even society, generally speaking, we have been raised to think on a one-track mind, that we go to school for a specific thing and then maybe we specialize in that thing and then we learn more and more about it. Whereas multi-passionate people tend to want to learn a lot of things about a bunch of different topics. I think something that nobody ever talks about is, what if your skill set is the ability to learn a lot about multiple things and then to put them into play. Being multi-passionate isn't something that you need to fix. It doesn't mean that you're flaky. It doesn't mean that you're indecisive. You're actually able to see, do, and experience the world in a way that no one else can. If this is hitting for you, then let's continue on. Being in the creative space was actually more difficult for me in this way of learning a niche or having a niche when I put myself out there, because I found that my interests were so broad that it was difficult for me to choose just one thing that I knew I would be interested in long enough to speak about. And that's why I think being a YouTube content creator is actually really helpful for me, because now it allows me to utilize a lot of different skills that I've accrued, like doing Canva. I made my banner and my transitions videos all through Canva. Learning to use AI has come into play. Building a website has come into play. Link in bio stores has come into play. So all of these things that I had created along the way for other things are now coming back full circle as my toolkit has grown over the years, because I'm now tying in all of these different skills, and it's in a way that it hits all those interest points for me, where some days I can be creative, some days I can be more relaxed, I can go with my energy fluctuations and my sleep schedules. I think a big game changer moment for me too came when I stopped trying to fit into these other boxes and started to realize that not all boxes look the same. I think it gets really easy, especially in the world we live in right now, with people like Gary Vee and Alex Hormozy and these people that are really comfortable with constantly putting themselves out there and constantly being in content creation mode. It's a lot different when you have teams and systems in place that work for that lifestyle. But for someone like me, I don't necessarily always want to be taking videos of myself or being on camera or doing a creative project, or maybe some days I want to be more task oriented and getting to-do lists done. This way of living, since adapting my lifestyle to now fit what works for me instead of what works for everybody else or a lot of other people, it seems, was a really big game-changing moment for me. This is actually where I ended up creating my Notion dashboard that is like literally my entire life. It will break down my day from the moment I wake up in the morning and my journaling. I track my sleep, my menstrual cycle, my energy, my mood. I will also check in with daily priorities, my budget. My side quest tab is really great for taking notes and different ideas, because I'm always coming up with ideas for different types of events or wellness events, things like that. So this is the inspiration, my frustration of years of living with not knowing how to spend my time as someone who has multiple interests. Creating this structure has been game changing for me, and it's really allowed me to become much more productive and go with my energy fluctuations. Dashboard. It is literally my life. I come in here every single morning. It's the first thing I do. So I'm going to walk you through this right now. First, I start on the navigation panel, as you see on the left side. Good morning is where I go first. This is where I track all of my monthly moods, menstrual cycles, all sorts of good stuff here. And you see each of these days pops up and open. So what this is my journal entries for each of these days. So you can see I can track all of my journal entries here, the date, my energy level throughout the week as I go, my peak energy times, my mood, my sleep schedule. I even have notes through here that I can keep track of whether I slept through the night. Next, I check in with my daily priority, which is also linked to this table here on the right, so I get a preview of what I'm looking at each day. But I click here. This is going to give me my top priorities for the day. So you can see I have a few different things going on today. I'm working on real estate and I'm working on YouTube. This is my content vault. This is where I keep track of all of my content ideas, whether or not I have a thumbnail, when it's going to be scheduled, the status for it. So this is a multi drop down menu, so I can choose more than one option. So actually I'm video editing, video recording, and next we'll move on to being scheduled, posted, and then the after party, where I will create all of my GIFs, my GIFs, and all of my shorts. This is where I keep track of future ideas if I like them. Money is my budget. Side quests. This is where I track different things that I'm actually working on at the moment, or that I have an interest in. Maybe I've started them, but I haven't finished them. This will walk through what type of category I'm feeling for these. So you can see the options: creative, professional, learning, exploratory, personal, my energy level that is required for these projects. Like a lot of these are going to be high energy requirements. Goals. These are broken down by, area of life. Brain dump is just a spot where I can take notes. I can dump things that I'm excited about, just anything like that. Kind of a place to just track things. Low energy wins. This is stuff that takes no time at all. This is where I come to check in if I'm having a day where I'm just not feeling people, but I feel like I need to get something accomplished. Inspiration ideas is just things that, like this one, I have a YouTube video I want to watch on learning more about Notion, which I could probably delete now because I've learned a lot. You did it. This is where I actually just move all of my complete tasks to this list. I don't know if you're like me, but I love being able to check something off my to-do list. And so even though it's already done and out of the way, I don't necessarily want it to go forever. It's also been kind of interesting just to track my progress as I've been going, because I've been getting so much stuff done since I started doing this. And archives, that's just where I keep track of old projects or things that maybe I'm not really actively working on, but I still want to be able to access the information. Down below, you can see I have projects here. These are things I'm actively working on at the moment. So I am in the midst of planning some wellness events. I'm currently taking a somatics course. Multi-passionate project, that is the template that is going to be linked in the bio for sale below. And house, pretty obvious, home projects. Then on the right, as I said before, top priority, that is linked to this table here on my home screen. Day ahead, things that I definitely want to get through today. That's what I'm working on now. Post the video. And then I have a real estate listing going live tomorrow. If you scroll down below, this is a board view of all of my tasks. So YouTube, this is what I'm working on currently. Instagram, I'm kind of on hold with. But anyway, these are all checklists for those specific areas of my life. And then what I can do once I'm done, I see I finished my money day, move to, you did it. And now it's off of that as something that I've completed. And you did it. So this is where I track my tasks throughout my day by categories. And I literally use this for everything, as you can see too. We've got the weather down below, but you can customize this to be functional for you too. So like maybe you don't work on YouTube, but you do TikTok, you can change that. Or if you have a side project that you're working on, all of those things can be customizable to you. All right, next I want to talk about 6 key takeaways for us multi-passionate people. These are things that I've learned along the way, and I think that they'd be helpful for you as well. So let's jump into those now. And tip number 1 is to have patience with yourself. This path is frustrating and it's zigzaggy, like I said. You're not generally going to be going into life with one thing in mind that you want to do, and you're going to gun for it. Probably what you're going to end up doing is picking multiple things that almost seem like they have nothing to do with each other. So key takeaway here is having patience with yourself as the pieces start to come together. I am 40 and my pieces are just now starting to come together. So have patience. Next, it's going to be key for you to look at the different skill sets that you've learned from different types of work. And so a good example of this for me, I worked as a dental assistant for most of my 20s. And what that taught me was attention to detail. I learned about taking very concise and accurate notes for the sake of communicating with the insurance companies effectively. I learned about how to deal with people in emotional situations. Now, years later, fast forward to my time as a realtor in a very competitive market. Again, I'm dealing with attention to detail with my contracts and being able to make sure that my contracts are concise and accurate for the sake of my clients in a smooth transaction. I also am dealing with people in one of the most emotional times of their lives. They're spending more money than they've probably ever spent on one thing. They are very emotional. I can tell you, even the most chill people on the planet get crazy during dental appointments and real estate transactions. It's just how it is. But because I had those overlapping traits from 2 completely different areas, I was able to then use those to my advantage to work a smooth transaction. Capture ideas as they come is my next tip. And the reason that I say this is multi-passionate people, if you're like me, your brain moves quickly and you always have new ideas and things flowing in and out of there. And sometimes it seems like they're stupid or they won't be good to use later or whatever. And I've actually found that I take the note immediately and I check in with it throughout a period of time to see that it's not something that I can't integrate elsewhere later. So like I was just saying with finding your skill sets that can cross paths, this is similar with ideas. Maybe it doesn't make sense right now, but later down the road, you can tie it into another project that you're working on. My next key takeaway for you is that skills are never wasted. Even when you're pivoting and you feel like you're failing because you've been doing something and it's not seeming to work for you, that skill will likely come back into play for you later where it makes more sense. My next tip is to try to go with your energy flow as much as possible. While I realize not everybody can do this if you work a regular 9-to-5 job, I'm fortunate to be self-employed, like I said, so I am able to make my schedule work for me. But I know that there's times in my life where I, even throughout a week, a month, menstrual cycle, whatever, I have fluctuations of your energy throughout the periods of time. So there's times where I can bust out my to-do list in about 2 hours. I can get everything done on it. I can make all the videos. I can make all the content for them. I can write all the copy for them. And then there's days where I cannot even look at an email. So when you have days like that, it's crucial to see what skills can match your energy level at that time. My last key takeaway for you is to batch your tasks by your energy. So what I mean by that is, like, I have days where I feel more creative, and on those days I generally tend to write my scripts, record my videos, make my thumbnails. I will create my transitions for my videos. I do all of those types of tasks. Then you have more medium type level energy tasks. Those can be like reviewing your analytics, responding to your DMs, scheduling your content, outlining your products or your content launches, what you want to do. Then I have low energy tasks. Typically, these look like cleaning out my camera roll or my junk folder on my computer. Little things that like very low interaction with other people, and I can get it done while sitting in my bed watching TV and not having to worry about talking to people. If you found this video helpful, please consider checking out my Notion dashboard for the multi-passionate. It is the lifeblood of my existence. I literally use it every single day. It's definitely been a game changer in providing some structure in a kind of wiggly type way of living. It's made my life so much easier, and I know that it can definitely help you too. Also, please subscribe if this video was helpful, share it with a friend, and comment below what kind of content you'd like to see more of.